Your Excellency, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Bamberines PF. Bamberines PF. Bamberinokubatana. Bamberinokubatana. Bamberines PF. Bamberines PF. Bamberinokubatana. 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 Pass Lemandu. Thank you. Comrade Director of Ceremonies, Wendu, Comrade S.K. Moore, the Acting Secretary for Administration, Comrade Mpofu, and Comrade Shinamasa. Our First Lady, Comrade Axili Mnangagwa. Members of the Politburo present, members of Central Committee, may I say all protocol observed. Ndatenda ngiyabonga. This morning, when I made my opening remarks, I was your interim president. So I was careful of what I said, and I was neutral. Now that I am your president, I feel free to say what I think. I will give my closing statement first, then I will move on to make some appointments in the party. This morning, I opened this memorable and historic extraordinary session of our party congress, which was convened specifically to ratify the resolutions of the special session of the Central Committee held on the 19th of November 2017. To this end, allow me to applaud you all as Congress delegates for the manner you conducted today's program. I'm emboldened and uplifted by the resolve, clarity, and decisiveness with which you endorsed and concluded our deliberations. The extraordinary Congress attended by over 6,000, in fact I'm told over 7,000 party members from across the country, proves, as if proof were needed, that ours is a party full of committed and devoted cadres. We are indeed a competent and a forward-thinking party able to define a new vision without being swayed away from its founding and defining principles as we enter a new era. I salute each and every one of you. I'm proud to be your comrade. I'm proud to call you my comrades. I would like to express my profound gratitude to the party as represented by Congress delegates here present for confirming me as the President and First Secretary of our revolutionary party, and also endorsing me as the party's presidential candidate in the forthcoming 2018 harmonized general elections. Thank you for finding me worth your trust, worth to be the leader and the servant of this colossal and great party. I beseech you, comrades, to keep those steadying and supporting hands on me as I assume this onerous role of leading this revolutionary party. I appeal for your continued and a frank counsel, for your forbearance, kind and generous judgment as we chart a new trajectory in our party and government, never losing sight of the milestones we have achieved in the past. Let us be mindful that ZANU-PF is not the party of its leader, but the party of its members. It is a party for all of us. As your President and First Secretary, I'm the first among equals. But equals, we are all equal. Each individual cadre is essential, and each individual cadre will help shape our destiny as a party. We are bound and interwoven inextricably by the threads of our party, by the individual and the collective duties therein stated. Let us vow from today to uphold and defend our party constitution, for it binds us, unites us, and it defines us. Let us protect it at all costs. Comrade delegates, as we depart tomorrow, I want to assure you that the party and government will continue with serious introspection as we chart a better course for us all, for now and posterity. I stated in my inaugural speech to the state presidency, and as reflected in the 2018 national budget statement, the task at hand is that of rebuilding our great country. Government will leave no stone unturned to fully exploit the country's rich resources, resource base for the benefit of all our people, and to improve the livelihoods of all who consider Zimbabwe their home. For the avoidance of doubt, let me assure Congress, the party membership and the nation at large that the principle of repossessing our land cannot be challenged or reversed. To do so would be the brave men and women who fell in our protracted war of liberation. Those who sacrificed their lives in our quest to regain our land, Indeed, our land, our agriculture are at the core to us people and are central to our economy. In the creation of this government will, through the newly reconstituted Ministry of Lands, Agriculture and Rural Settlement, which I have entrusted to a soldier, he no more flies, he must now walk on land. Air Marshal Perez must ensure that appropriate policy instruments are in place to support all categories of farmers, be it the A1, A2, resettled farmers, communal farmers, with focus being on productivity and the maximum utilization of all agricultural land. I have given this mandate to Air Marshal Perez, who knows what a command is. Left, he turns left. Right, he turns right. Stop, he stops. Go, he goes. Congress will be pleased to note that, as announced in the National Budget Statement, the ZANU-PF government will continue to fund the Command Agriculture, which was facing sabotage and undermining. We are going to increase the presidential input scheme for every single household in our country. In addition, supporting traditional crops, government has increased support for small grains, soybeans, and cotton. I'm aware that some of us have been experiencing some challenges with regards to accessing seed and fertilizers from GMB depots in our provinces, while others have experienced great congestion and delays at depots. All this is going to be challenges of the past. This was happening as a result of people who were undermining Command Agriculture as well as the presidential input scheme. Let me assure you all that the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture and Rural Settlement is now looking into the matter, and I'm confident that the issues are being competently attended to. Where there is need for financial support, I'm sure you are aware that we received 1.5 billion to support programs. Meanwhile, let us all work hard to ensure that the 2017-2018 agricultural season is a tremendous success. I have no doubt that when the people speak, God becomes happy and they will give you rains. Going forward, government will facilitate an enabling environment that it ensures success throughout the agro value chain. Funds have been set aside to boost agricultural productivity at a disaggregated level. In this regard, government will harness our irrigation potential and ensure maximum utilization of existing idle water bodies throughout our country. Resources have thus been availed already towards irrigation rehabilitation and development, with at least 200 hectares per district targeted to be implemented annually for the next 10 years. With the anticipated improvement of productivity in cropping, we have put in place measures to increase our harvesting capacities through the importation of combine harvesters, dryers, and other agricultural equipment for that purpose. Plans are in place to manage post-harvest losses and expand our storage facilities throughout the country. As you are fully aware, this last season, we have over 1.2 million grain that has come to GMB. And that is 40% of the grain that was produced. 60% of the grain remains with our people. If you do your arithmetic properly, you realize then that we have had nearly 3 million metric tons of grain in the country. Meanwhile, we remain alive to the need to protect our vast forests throughout the country, especially in the Eastern Highlands. The responsible Minister of Water, Environment, is looking into all these matters together with an accelerated thrust for reforestation, growing of fruit trees, and the prevention of field fires. And we have accessed funds for this purpose. Dear delegates, it was only yesterday that the Minister of Lands, Agriculture and Rural Resettlement launched the Command Livestock, Fisheries and the Wildlife Program. Through this program, funding will be availed for increasing the national herd and other livestock, as well as revitalizing the dairy sector. Resources will also be set aside to develop the fishing industry at community level by distributing fingerlings for fish breeding purposes. Minister Mnangagwa, as we were planting trees outside there, said that Zimbabwe, in terms of international, otherwise continental statistics on how much fish we eat per person, we Zimbabweans only eat 1 kg each of fish per year. But the rest of Africa, the average is 6 kg per person. Now, Comrade Mnangagwa has a task that within the next 5 years, we must catch up with the rest of the continent in terms of availability of fish. This will be made available freely in all water bodies in our provinces as well as districts. At national scale, we seek to fully exploit the Tokwe Mukosi Dam and complete the Gwai Shangani Dam to benefit from to the benefit both communities and also the cropping and the fisheries subsectors of our economy. In addition, the development of pastures, the improvement of the quality of our livestock breeds through artificial insemination, control and management of livestock diseases, as well as the erection of fencing boundaries will be equally prioritized under my government. I'm confident that these vast interventions in the agriculture sector will improve our fortunes, not only as a country, but principally at a household level. In the quest to unlock the maximum benefits from our primary products and translate these to dollars in both the national pace and the people's pockets, we are intensifying on value addition, beneficiation, and industrialization. Communities and the membership of the party should be fully exploit these opportunities as active participants. As a result of various financial facilities from multilateral and bilateral organizations, we are expecting that our industries will soon be retooled. The National Railways of Zimbabwe revitalized, and the Harare Bike Bridge will be dualized. In the same vein, we will accelerate implementation of the special economic zones, which will attract new foreign investment into the economy. The inroads made to date in the mining sector, coupled with untapped potential as well as emerging partnerships, point to the fact that economic recovery is imminent. We have revisited our laws on indigenization, which has allowed more participation in the area of foreign direct investment. We will also open Zimbabwe up to investment by building an open, free and transparent economy which benefits Zimbabweans and is welcoming to outsiders. These initiatives across all sectors demonstrate that we have begun a new journey towards real growth and investment to empower our people. This trust will undoubtedly translate to more jobs, and more jobs, and a better living standard for all. On my part, I assure you that these are not pipe dreams. Government will move with haste to ensure that all agreed programs become a reality in the shortest possible period. You can ask the current crop of ministers as to whether business is as usual. It has changed. Both the party and its government will no longer be about talk, but about work and delivery. That I assure you. Comrades, allow me to turn to a matter which I know is of great concern to all of us, that of cash shortages. I realize that people still have very little access to their hard-earned cash. The frustration is felt more so now as we prepare for the festive season and thereafter the beginning of the school term. My government remains committed to redress the structural problems that have resulted in this state of affairs. I mentioned that we have discussed the African Bank, which has assured us to assist us in this area to improve the availability of cash in the financial service sector, as well as other financial institutions whom we have discussed with in the area of assisting us in this area. To this end, comprehensive measures will be rolled out to address this issue, starting, of course, with the fiscal discipline, drastic reduction of the budget deficit, and increased productivity. I urge us all to be patient. Soon we will see the benefits of the new economic era. Meanwhile, I exhort all retailers and the service providers to desist from wantonly increasing prices, which I understand is happening. I urge this sector to stop profiteering tendencies. Let the people at heart. Let us give our new economic era a chance. We can achieve this by all working together and putting our nation first. Whether you are a businessman, ordinary worker, skilled worker, non-skilled worker, the country is ours together. We are equally important. I would like to equally assure the party that government will give due attention to the social services sector sector, the rehabilitation of our road infrastructure, and attend to the housing needs of our population throughout the country at all levels, not just in major towns. Already, we have concluded some arrangement for the construction of nearly 400,000 houses before we go for elections throughout the country. On housing delivery, we will return to proper planning of settlements and the provision of the requisite development infrastructure such as roads, water, sanitation and power. The age of land barons is over. Again, I'm saying the age of land barons is over. So is the age of settlements which crop up overnight. All who were perpetrators of this corrupt and untenable practice must stand warned. As a people, let us respect our values, our traditional leaders, and uphold the values of Ubuntu, Unu, in all spheres of life. We are Zimbabweans. Let us be proud of our heritage, proud of our history, and proud of our identity, no matter the circumstances we find ourselves in, individually or as a nation. Let us boldly step out of the past, step out disgrace, and the past. Let us step into the future, which we can successfully ourselves. The future is in front of us. We can build it. We can never repair the past which has passed. Corruption. Let us vow as a party that this evil must come to an end now. I'm aware that as the party was organizing for this extraordinary Congress, some people printed their own donation letters on behalf of the party, and the money never reached headquarters. That should end. Let us be exemplary in our conduct and dealings with society. Let us never allow people to use their party membership as a cover to be corrupt, to cut corners, doing shady deals. This party should never be a haven for corrupt opportunists and the vile of our society. I say no, 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 and I hope you join me in saying no. Thank you. The need for discipline as party members cannot be overemphasized, as it is the prerequisite if the party is to score successes in all its endeavors. Political discipline begins with observing and safeguarding the party constitution. I urge us all to always mindful of the duties of members in the Constitution, which I alluded to earlier on in the morning, found in Article 3, Section 21, subsections 1 to 6. In this way, we all have an inalienable responsibility to jealously safeguard the unity of the party. During my keynote address, I said that the era of factionalism is behind us. And indeed, many echo this call. However, we will be judged by our actions, not words. For all our commitments to unity, if one party cadre turns on another, if cadres begin demonstrating or speaking out against each other, if cadres try to take revenge on those who in the past were affiliated with different groupings, then all our words will have been in vain. look forward with hope and love. We cannot be hostages of the past grievances, the bygones. Let the bygones be bygones. As I pledged earlier, I will be the leader of all party members, irrespective of one's stance or standing in past times. I equally expect the same from all party members. That is the nature of our party. It is for everyone. It does not fit, this party does not fit in anyone's pocket. However, those who have been forgiven should not think we have forgotten. Staying over a new leaf and renew ourselves. There will be those who look for opportunities to claim that nothing has changed. We must lead by example. Each one of our members must conduct himself or herself in a way that embodies the spirit and values of this great revolutionary party. The party must also set an exemplary example of the kind of new course we are on as a nation. In the recent past, the party and its prominent members have at times demonstrated extravagancy and wastefulness not befitting a revolutionary liberation movement. No more. In this new era, we will once again be fragile institution whose every fiber is dedicated to the well-being of the Zimbabwean population. We have a crucial year ahead of us with two main goals. We must again win the support and trust of the Zimbabwean people in the 28 harmonized general elections so that they elect us to lead them for another 5 years. And we must resurrect the economy, delivering real gains for each and every citizen of this great nation. These two tasks are interconnected. We will only win at the ballot box if we can show signs that we are reviving our economy, and at the same time we will only be able to make real economic gains if we can secure re-election. Therefore, I see these two domains, the political and the economic, as equally significant for our future. Hence, the party must be about politics and about economics. On the political front, we must all acknowledge that we inhabit a rapidly changing world, and our success will be dependent on how well we adapt. Almost half of all Zimbabweans were born in this millennium, and over 3/4 have been born since independence. These young people have different expectations, and their skill set and technological know-how is completely different to those born even a decade before independence. They have different experiences. The frame of reference for this generation are the economic struggles of the past decade. We must also listen to them. We must hear their hopes and fears. Our youth want to know how we will create jobs and opportunities for them. We must provide them with answers rooted in the future. We must not only develop a strong bond with the young Zimbabweans, but we must also encourage them to be part of our structures, for only then will our party guarantee existence in the future. Meanwhile, more effort must be put towards policy interventions which deliberately empower women with sustainable business opportunities. The Women's League, during its mobilization activities, must keep its membership abreast with regard to business possibilities across all the economic sectors of our economy. The party will harness the collective experience from those fraternal parties that assisted us during our war of liberation, they steadfastly supported us in the post-independence of our country. To this end, we will see intensified and a more coordinated approach to ideological training under the auspices of Chitepo Ideological College. I will today appoint the principal of that college. As we approach the 2018 harmonized elections, let me reiterate that these will be credible, free and fair, and peaceful. There is no need of violence at all. There is no opposition to talk about. Our party has been rejuvenated from Chipinge to Plum Tree, from Baiti Bridge to Chirundu. We must always be mindful that no party, however rich, there is a divine right to govern. That is something we must end at the ballot box. The party must invigorate its structures, organize, mobilize, and vigorously ensure that all its members are registered. We must register for the forthcoming general elections. If we do this, we are sure to renew the sacred trust that exists between ZANU-PF and the Zimbabwean people. And we will prevail in the 2018 elections. In the next few months, we will be informing you the concrete plans with regard to these elections. Comrade delegates, as a young man, I joined the party because I believed in it. I believe that it was the party of liberation, of development, party for independence, and most of all, the party of hope. Standing before you today, many decades later, this is now, I joined the party for politics. I first went for my military training in December 1962 until 1964 when I graduated in China. Up to date, I don't know any other employment except the party. So, but today, many decades later, as the new leader of this proud, revolutionary, and evolving party, let me assure you that I still believe in this party because of what it has achieved, and also, importantly, because of what it still can achieve. I believe in it. The party I believe in is a united, progressive, and a forward-thinking party, Zanu. It is a democratic party committed to transparency, freedom, and human rights. An optimistic party offering hope and opportunities to all Zimbabweans. A listening party that understands the hopes and fears of our fellow citizens. And a bold party that offers solutions to the challenges Zimbabwe faces today. A party which can correct itself. As we bring this extraordinary Congress to a close and return to our provinces, each one of us has a job to do. We are all responsible for bringing this message to the countryside. Comrades, go out and ensure that ZANU-PF members are humble, are honest, and are patriotic Zimbabweans. Go out and ensure that ZANU-PF is not only about the past, but actually about the future. Go out and share our vision for the new Zimbabwe, because together we will win elections. Together we will unlock the economic potential of our beloved motherland. And together we will build a new, prosperous and a democratic Zimbabwe for all. Before I conclude, I must move on to deal with a nice area of new appointments. We have vacancies for 2 vice presidents. Because of circumstances which bid me to clear other appointments elsewhere and restructure institutions elsewhere, I'm delaying the appointment of for perhaps another few days. Disappointed. Next, I need to appoint the national chairman of ZANU-PF. For this post, I appoint Opa Uchingurikashiri. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. May we take our... May I say that all the current members of the Politburo remain members of the Politburo. Next, the Secretary for Administration, we had Comrade I.C. Chombo, who the special Central Committee meeting kicked out. I now elevate Obed Pofu for self-administration. I will appoint the current deputy for Secretary for Administration has been changed. I will appoint at the next time, as I announce the other members, I will also announce his deputy. The current deputy has been removed. Secretary for Finance, this post was being held by Comrade Mpofu, and the deputy was Tavengwa. Tavengwa has been removed. I will later on, when I make next announcements, appoint the deputy. But the Secretary for Finance becomes Patrick Namasa. Then I proceed with the Secretary for Commissariat, who was Comrade Kasukwere, who has been expelled. He was deputized by Comrade Opaungwe. Comrade Opaungwe remains as Deputy Secretary, but the Secretary for Commissariat is Major General Rugeje. I continue with the Center for External Relations that changed. Center for National Security, we had KDC Mohadi and Comrade Matuke. There are changes there. Comrade Matuke becomes Secretary for National Security. I move on. There is no Deputy Secretary. I will announce the Deputy Secretary the next announcement. Secretary for Transport and Social Welfare, there was Comrade Chinguri. I now appoint July Moyo as Secretary for Transport. The deputy was Daniel Shumba is expelled. So there's a vacancy there. Secretary for Information and Publicity, Comrade S.K. Moy remains. And there is no deputy secretary again. I'll appoint deputies later. Secretary for Welfare of the Disabled, there's no change. There's Comrade J. Malinga, there's no change. And his deputy. Secretary for Land Reform and Resettlement, we had Comrade Cain Matema, and the deputy was A. Nure. There's no change. Secretary for Science and Technology, there was Professor Jonathan Moyo. I have appointed his friend, Chris Mnangagwa. The deputy was Joao. I have not appointed, I will do that later. Secretary for Business Development and the deputy, there's no change. Secretary for Environment and Tourism, there is no change. I should mention, Secretary for Business Development and Liaison was S.G. Nyoni, and the Deputy Secretary Chierenge, they remain. Secretary for Environment and Tourism, Mufumira, Deputy A. Comrade Mnangagwa, they remain. Secretary for War Veterans, Detainees and War Victor Matemadanda. I shall appoint this deputy later. The principal of Chitepo College, I elevate Comrade Machacha. And he becomes a member of the Politburo. The current members of the Politburo remain as members of the Politburo, but I've added two more. Comrade Air Marshal Perez Shiri and Comrade S.B. Moy. For now, these are the first batch of my appointments. The second batch is following in a few days. And friends, delegates, as I conclude this extraordinary Congress of Zanu PF, our Revolutionary Party, I wish you journey mercies as you travel back to your provinces. I also wish you a happy Christmas and a successful Field 2018. God bless you all. God bless our party Zanu PF. God bless Zimbabwe. Hammerine Zanu PF. Hammerine Zanu PF. Hammerine Kubatana. Hammerine Kubatana. I think I'm sorry, I must have jumped some other person. I realize the Women's League and Youth League. Right, I jumped that one. Secretary for Legal Affairs, I appoint the Deputy Paul Mangwana to become the Secretary for Legal Affairs. And I appoint Deputy Fortune Chasi as the Deputy. Now, with other portfolios I had omitted, I just need to mention them that they remain. Secretary for Implementation of Indigenization Policies, Comrade Bima, and his Deputy Secretary remain. Secretary for Production Labor, Comrade J.D. Ungwe remain. I will appoint Deputy later. Secretary for Health, Child Care, and the Elderly, Comrade S.F. Chizema remains. The Deputy Dr. Mwembeshora, they remain. Secretary for Economic Affairs, C.C. Mushowe remains. We shall appoint his deputy. Secretary for Women Affairs, Comrade Mebuch Nomona. Thank you, thank you. The Deputy Secretary remains, Comrade T. Matutu remains the Deputy Secretary. Secretary for Youth Affairs, I reinstate Comrade Togarepi. The Secretary will be Secretary for Education, J. MacDonald Gumbo remains, and we shall appoint his deputy. Secretary for Gender and Culture remains vacant, and the deputy remains vacant. I will appoint at the next batch. Thank you very much.